Welcome, Wildcat families. We are having a great day here at UK. The sun is shining and spring is in the air. We're very excited about that. We are very excited that you are here joining us live for Cat Chat Live, where today we're going to talk a little bit about how you can best be preparing your students to be safe during spring break, no matter what activities they are planning. We know that students are wanting to go all over the globe. And so we want to make sure that they are prepared to be safe in their travels. My name is Nikki Jenkins. I'm the Senior Program Specialist for the Parent and Family Association here at UK. If you are not already a member of the Parent and Family Association and aren't receiving your Cat Chat email newsletters once a month, then feel free to go ahead on our website and learn more about how you can get connected to us. We would love to make sure that you're getting all the information you need to best support your students. Joining me today is one of my favorite folks on campus. This is Senior Officer Alan Saylor, and he's going to be here to answer your questions, give you some tips and insights into helping your students. So we're really excited to have him here today. Alan, why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about who you are and what your experience at the University of Kentucky has been like thus far.
Well, I've been here since 1983, and so a long career here. And I've seen a lot of evolution in the university, particularly with infrastructure and the community. When I first came here, there was not a selective admission. So there was a lot of really, it was a community where you did not have serious students. They were students that came here, were here for their freshman year, and then couldn't cut it, and out the door they went. UK finally went to a selective admission down the road. I can't give you a time frame of what that would be, but when that happened, what I saw was a community of more serious-minded students, and then of course alcohol was eliminated a few more years later, and as a result of that, it was completely upside down. When I first came here as a police officer, I had nonstop back-to-back calls from the time I got in at 10 o'clock until 4 a.m. When selective admission went in, it started ceasing. And then when alcohol was eliminated from campus, we were looking at getting a ball and glove at 3 a.m. and bouncing it off a wall somewhere just to keep awake as much as we possibly could. But I've seen a lot during that time, and my heart is with university and university communities, and it's been a nice ride.
Sounds like a good problem to have.
Yeah.
So we like that. We like to see students being safe and making good choices on campus, and having resources that they can go to and utilize. So that's great. So our topic tonight, or this afternoon, is spring break safety. And I know, Alan, that you have a lot of experience in this area and a lot of knowledge. So to kick it off, why don't you give us just one tip? What's the number one thing, if parents and families leave with anything today, what is the one thing that you want them to know about how to help their students stay safe?
Well, we always think about, getting from point A to point B. We want them to get there safely. We know statistically that if students travel at night, and everybody likes traveling at night, they want to get there, they want to start having fun in the sun. And but what we know statistically is that students drive at night in their age group, it usually is more risky due to being tired or whatever the case may be. That's the high risk time. So we always try to encourage students to drive down there during the day. But if they do drive at night, always have somebody in the car with them or something to keep them busy, so they'll stay awake and concentrate on the road. I'd have to say another second thing is that, we don't want a crisis when we go on vacation and when we're having fun. And so the crisis would be your money gets stolen and you're unable to have the vacation you hope to have. And so I think of many different ways of doing this. One of the suggestions I would recommend is, first of all, make sure your bank is aware that you're traveling That way they don't think that there's fraudulent use of your card while you're traveling. But I'd even take it a step further, and why not get yourself a reload card, put some money on that, don't have anything tied to your bank whatsoever. That way you don't have to go through all the banking issues that you'd have to go through in canceling that card, maybe even having to develop another account, all because somebody stole your stuff while you're away on vacation.
That's a really good tip. It's one that I hadn't really thought of, and one that I will be using for the next time I travel, just to have a separate card so that your identity can be a little more secure when you're traveling. I don't think that's something that students will think of either. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. So that's a really good tip. So if we have students who are going to be traveling, maybe it's abroad or maybe it's just domestically, and they're going to be staying in hotels, maybe. Do you have any tips on how to be more secure if they're going to be staying in a hotel?
I've traveled abroad. I've traveled Europe and I traveled in Caribbean and so forth. And I can just tell you that the first thing you have to have is just a heightened alertness about things and have some real good security habits to do. When you're on a floor with maybe multiple individuals, you want to keep the door open so everyone can come and go as they want to from each other's room. I would not suggest that, particularly if you're traveling abroad. You don't know a lot of times what kind of neighborhood your hotel is in. It may look great on the computer, but when you get there and you're going, whoa, wait a minute here, this is not a good situation. That even in that situation, you might want to consider if there's somewhere else you can go to that. But with that in mind, it's just great just to keep your doors closed, keep them locked at all times. That way, you're not meeting somebody in your room when you walk in that you don't want in your room, and as well as somebody's not coming in on you when they're not welcomed.
That's a good tip. I agree. Sometimes when you're out with your friends and you have friends who have multiple rooms together on one floor, you want to just come and go, and that can be really dangerous because you don't always know who's coming and going. So agreed. That's a good tip. That's a good tip. Well, thinking about coming and going, and being all over the place, how should students think about protecting their location, wanting to know, like making sure that people aren't able to follow them or find them if they're in a predatory situation?
Well, I'm always concerned. Everybody wants to show what they're doing on vacation to friends and family that are participating in some type of social media site. And that's all well and good. So to prepare for that, what I would do is I would check your security parameters that you have on your social media sites to make sure the people that are on there are people that you want to share the items with. The second thing is that I would do is probably take and remove your geobase from your photo because they can be tracked. All it takes is go through, Google reverse image search, and it will give an exact location of where that photo was taken. So now someone has some idea of where you're hanging out and what are you doing. So maybe taking that geobase off, so because I can take a photo right off of Facebook if Facebook is something they use, and I can track that particular person by just doing a geobase search. So that'd be another thing that I would do. And the other thing is don't use guest Wi-Fi. Use something you have to log into. Guest Wi-Fi is not where you need to be. It's just there's all kinds of different issues and problems with that I won't go into, but it's just best just to stay with a site that you actually have to log on to.
And if guest Wi-Fi is your only option for Wi-Fi, it's probably best not to be logging into your bank accounts and those types of sites, correct?
Exactly. The other thing is for a nominal cost, you can almost get a MiFi system from any of your big box stores, and pay down whatever you need to pay down, and you can actually use it, and it's a secure site.
Nice. For those of you who are just joining us now, we are here with Senior Officer Alan Saylor, and we are talking about spring break safety, and he's given us some really great tips so far. So if you have some questions for UKPD, go ahead and drop those in the chat, and we will ask them live. We'll try to answer as many as we can live over the next few minutes. But okay, so we have talked a little bit about identity theft. We've talked a little bit about keeping yourself safe in hotels. We've talked about protecting your location. Now let's talk about spring break activities that students may choose to participate in, and how they might stay safe during that time.
Well, we know that drinking is going to happen. All we look for is that people would participate in drinking safely. Now, what's that look like? For my daughters that I went off to college, they kind of rolled their eyes back when I would tell them, now do this and do that kind of thing. Some of the things you don't do is you don't go to the restrooms alone. Everybody goes as a group. So if you do leave a drink on the table, don't go back to that drink and drink it due to a lot of the drugs that are out there that can taint situations. And then also have somebody there among the group that chooses not to participate in the partying that's going on, and make sure that everyone is safe and make sure that everyone gets home safe that evening by driving or whatever. So I just encourage that. It doesn't sound like a lot of fun for the one person maybe, but hey, at the end of the day, all your friends are together and everybody's safe.
Those are really good tips. Ellen, will you tell us a little bit about the Live Safe app that we use here on campus? And is that app something that that students can use when they're out and not on campus?
Yeah, it doesn't have a firewall on it, so it's not like you get outside of the university community and it doesn't work. I've had moms and dads from Northern Ohio communicate and do things with their student here at the university. So, for example, one student who had those parents from Ohio, she would always say, "Will you follow me as I walk home?" And you could actually invite someone in that's participating with Live Safe too. And they can follow you and keep an eye on you. And I think if I'm correct, the last time I checked, you can follow up to 3 people at a time. And if that's the case, think about the safety in numbers kind of thing you would have when you go out on a spring break night to party or to be with folks. I keep saying party, not everybody parties, but what I'm thinking about through my eyes is that that's one of the areas that's risky, and I concern myself with that.
Absolutely. And one of the things that, during spring break, a lot of students go to where they are near water, and maybe they might be drinking on a boat, right? And there's some risk involved in that. And can you talk a little bit about what to think about if you are engaging in alcohol on a boat or near water?
Yeah, again, it really goes back to, have somebody that's kind of watching over folks. I think of all kinds of scenarios, people who are intoxicated being taken advantage of by someone else, but if you got somebody there that's not intoxicated, that can keep an eye on that. Someone that's on a boat can keep an eye on everybody in the party to make sure, they don't fall overboard. And because some people are drinking, they don't see it happen. A lot of those types of things. I think the worst case scenarios sometimes, but we want to get everybody back here at UK and back to the grind of studying, and no mom and dad wants to get as a dad, you don't want to get that phone call, so.
All right. Well, if you are joining us right now and you have some questions for UKPD, we have an expert here to talk about safety, and it could be spring break safety or just safety on campus. So go ahead and put those questions in the comments. We are going to be wrapping up here in just a few minutes, but we want to make sure to get to your questions if you have any of them. Okay, so thinking about spring break and students not being on campus, and maybe if they're living in a residence hall, they're not going to be on campus. What are some things that they can do to protect their belongings while they are away from their residence hall rooms or from their apartments during spring break?
And if this was yesteryear and we had the older dorms, there would be all kinds of things I would say about that. But with the new security protocols that we have in play in each one of the halls, your stuff is pretty secure. But that being said, I would look at what is it that I don't want stolen in the room, and I would take that with you. Either take it home if you're going home, take it home with you, or have some means or ways of removing it from that location to where you can put it in a safe location, like maybe a friend that's staying home, not really going anywhere for spring break, they can keep an eye on it. It's just something to where if you got a lot of data, particularly on your computer items, those are things you don't want to lose, because it takes a lot to get caught up on things once you have a new laptop or a note to get caught up on things.
Absolutely. The last thing you want is to lose your laptop over spring break and have to come back to classes and all your papers and things are due. So
Yes, absolutely.
you want to make sure you know where everything is and lock it up or take it home. Those are
Right.
tips. Okay, well, we are wrapping up to the end. So do you have any last advice for our students or maybe for our families and how they can be encouraging their students to be safe?
Well, I'll just speak from a parent's point of view. I would always say, have fun, make memories. However, be safe, because being a police officer dad, they would always get that one kind of lecture. Be safe, and if you're needed, if you need anything, I'm here to be, to catch you if things fall, So I think as a whole, this community that I serve, the students seem more conscientious about things than what they did in yesteryear, about themselves and about community, those type of things. And I think they generally will make good decisions.
Great advice. Great advice. Well, thank you so much for being with us today. This presentation has been recorded and we will be posting it to the UK Parents Facebook page. So if you were not able to listen to the entire presentation, it will be available to you. Tomorrow, we have another Cat Chat live at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time, where we will be talking about what happens after spring break when students come back to campus and kind of get in that academic slump where they're just aren't really ready to get back into classes, and how you as parents and family members and their supporters can really be encouraging them to stay on track and end the semester well. So that will be tomorrow at 12:30 p.m. with our partners at Integrated Success Coaching. So we hope that you can join us there. But Alan, thank you again for being here with us. We appreciate your time and your expertise, and we will see everyone very soon. Have a great afternoon. Go Cats!